Alright, so we have Fairy Tail, uh, last double chapter in the series of double chapters, and all we can say is, holy fuck, those chapters though. Especially the last one, of
So
course.
for the second chapter,
Hmm.
for the second chapter, the first chapter, well, the first of these two chapters was more like that was some, that I could all pretty much funny stuff. That was some pretty funny shit. With freaking Gajil coming in and being like, Natsu, I'm gonna arrest you for looking too menacing, and Lucy, I'm gonna arrest you for showing too much skin. Juvia for being too moist, Happy for eating too much fish, and Wendy just because you're something wrong with your existence. Like, and just in case you guys don't understand why that's so funny, those are I'm I mean, I don't understand how that is for Natsu, but for the other ones, that's definitely like has something directly to do with fan complaints
Oh,
about
hell
those
yeah.
particular characters. And for you younger crowd, you might not understand why Juvius is funny, being too moist. For
But we're
you,
about to spoil it for you, so.
because she has the world's biggest female hard on for Gray, and it's
Yeah.
annoying, and it can get a little annoying from time to time.
Because it pretty much becomes the sum of her character, so it's like, the fuck. And,
And then there was that whole weird. Oh yeah, sorry, that was this chapter, so I'm going to talk about it.
mhm.
What possibly one of the biggest, I guess, non-serious what the fuck moments of this in the honestly, hands down one of the biggest non-serious what the fuck moments in the entire series. Since when did friggin' Gray start adopting some of Juvia's personality? What the hell was that? Friggin', aw, you're so cute. Like, he didn't use the word cute ever, especially with not that tone of voice.
Right.
Like, I know they wanted to showcase that. Oh, they changed the future, so Gray isn't gonna kill Frosh, but really, like, like last the whole thing with Juvia having now has her own stripping habit is like, oh, she's trying to be more like Gray, so they can be closer together. But I did not think that he would turn around and say, "Oh well, Gray has to be a little more like Juvia, so he's gonna friggin'
Yeah,
like
as long as he just doesn't start getting obsessed with somebody, that would just be
no like
awful.
if this was like as long as he never does anything like that ever again, we're cool. We're cool because
Yeah.
there's already enough issues with the series, and we don't need another one.
No.
So with that, to pretty much the chapter 435 itself was an okay chapter. It wasn't. It was pretty. There was. I mean, I could say it was good because there was also the funny moments of the fairy tale not believing that that's the actual friggin' Gagio because he's saying and doing things that he normally wouldn't do
Hmm.
that are I guess quote unquote considered against character for him,
Yeah.
which was kind of funny.
Yeah,
So
I liked it, so, yeah.
um so let's get to the actual meat and so for that chapter, pretty good, it's whatnot.
Hmm.
Now 436. Uh, what the hell can we say about that? Like, holy Jesus fucking Christ, where the hell has Masha been hiding this side of himself this entire time?
I know,
Like,
right?
like, so the moment I finished reading it, the first thing that came to mind was guaranteed top 5 chapters of all time.
Quite possibly.
Like, no, there's no doubt, it's top 5. One, I can't say, I mean, like, it's been a while, so obviously I'd have to like when the series is over, marathon the whole thing, and then like, okay, these are my 5 favorite chapters. But this is definitely in the top 5 best chapters. Like, just I'm, it's so good that the rating pretty much is speechless. That's the rating. It's speechless
Huh.
because it's just like I said, it's speechless because there's just nothing can properly describe how good this chapter is. Like it makes up for all the recent bad, like the last couple bad chapters. It's not good enough to rectify whole arcs. I mean, maybe it's good enough to rectify the whole like the Avatar arc, but unfortunately, it still doesn't rectify some of the other bullshit. But
Yeah.
this, like, it's just where is this side of my hero been? Like, why can't we get this guy more often?
I mean, has he been consulting like another mangaka recently? Like,
Other mangaka, friggin', he's friggin' copying everything. Like friggin', like first you start off with the friggin' or Sasuke Aizen Gray look, and then the whole Naruto storyline thing with the whole possibility of it, like the whole mirroring Naruto thing, and
hmm
then you friggin' then when friggin' Natsu goes to defeat the demon god thing or the god thing, he friggin' there's the copying the whole Red Hawk moment from Fishman Island in One Piece. So it's like, and now it's like I don't know what series is he copying now.
he's
Like this,
copying like the identity, like an identity reveal from like Bleach. So he's going big three.
how is that I wouldn't an identity
There's a lot of those, especially
type
with
of one.
Ichigo.
Like oh my god, like oh what I mean like copying when it was revealed that he was a Quincy, half Quincy, Nani?
Where it was like revealed that he was like anything. Like he's been revealed to be so much. No spoilers, but
Like oh my god, he was that. Oh well, I already kind of spoiled the one thing,
yeah,
the
I'll just
Quincy thing.
mute it. But um,
Um, so it's like what?
something like that.
Yeah, but
The whole thing with his family. Oh my gosh.
eh, yeah, but I mean, friggin' Natsu is friggin' the little brother of the main villain of the series.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
what?
Okay, that's some Shaman King shit right there.
That's like, what? Like that's, it's just like that's why I have to get this chapter reading a speechless because it's impossible to properly describe the shock value and the awesomeness that this chapter gives us. It's all right. So then, okay, if that's some Shaman King stuff about him being related to the main villain, what is he copying in the fact that the main villain turns out to be a good guy who is just because like he's a good guy. We found out that Zeref's actually a good guy, but he's his heart has become darkened because of the curse that was put on him,
hmm
and the whole fact that the more he cherishes the life that's around him, the more that the greater chance that this curse would unleash and kill them.
And
The
so
life
now
that's
he just wants to annihilate everything.
so that way it can never happen again. It's like, how can I prevent myself from killing anything else? Oh, I'll just kill it all, so there's nothing left to kill.
I mean, the whole
That's
annihilation for a quote unquote good cause is sort of cliche, but it's
the whole fact.
understandable.
The fact that up until this point in time, he's been doing nothing but trying to research how to kill himself, so that way he could no longer cause harm,
hmm
which in the end only caused more trouble for other people. Like, it's just insane. Like, oh, the biggest comparison to the whole thing about how he's about his, the whole research thing he was doing in his flashback. Every single person that reviewed that chapter and or even talked about that chapter had one thing in common. He said, first thing that came to mind, Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, someone close to you die, then you start researching into how to resurrect the dead, and only cause more problems than you solve. Initially, at least in the case of Full Metal Alchemist.
Pegasus from friggin' Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is, which I think came out after Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know.
Before, long
Oh, it did?
before. The manga did at least.
The manga
Which
came out.
I think had that whole thing involved too. I don't remember.
Well, yeah, because that's the whole premise of the beginning of how they lost their arm,
Mm-hmm.
the leg, and the body. Was the whole fact that they lost someone they loved, and then they tried to research how to bring someone back to life, and now they're paying for it. But instead of becoming, you know, having this cause them to turn evil, no, that's not something. Obviously, that's something that's completely different in fairy tales. That instead of, they try to fix it, he tries to fix what's happened to him, and that's only caused him more pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so tragic, and it's like, he makes you sympathize with him, like, to a certain degree, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
It's like, and we're gonna have to kill this guy.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the worst thing is, and this is very possible, being that it's so heavily on friendship. Someone made a prediction that we're gonna get that when it comes to Natsu, aka E.N.D. versus Zeref, we're gonna get a friggin' talk no jutsu.
Oh God.
That he's going to talk no jutsu away all of Zeref's problems.
No way.
Like, well, no, he can change Zeref. You know, turn him from back to being not so like on a rampage.
Mm-hmm.
A killing spree. But he's definitely gonna have to kill Acnologia, and probably is now confirmed he's gonna face the god that put the curse on Zeref,
Uh-huh.
and is going to kill him to free his brother from the curse.
Yeah, I
But
mean that could definitely happen.
and if that's the case, that is going to cause so many different problems. I can tell you right then and there. One, if the curse is lifted from Zeref, is all those years he lived going to immediately catch up to him, or is he just going to just start aging from there on forth?
I would hope it's the former at the very least.
I would hope so too, because if Zeref immediately ages all those years and dies, I'm assuming it's under the same premise as the Devil Fruits, and that his signs of his magic will disappear. And guess what one of his signs of his magic was?
What?
Natsu.
Oh.
Yeah. Natsu's only alive because of what Zeref did. So if that would mean freeing Zeref from his curse, if it's the first option, which is he immediately all those years catch up to him and he dies, and all signs of his magic disappear. Not only would all the demons of the Book of Zeref, including E.N.D, which is Natsu, would die. Which would be one dark as hell ending.
It would be friggin' amazing.
Which would actually, you know what? That would probably be that's pretty much Final Fantasy X.
Pretty much.
But then again,
which I happen to be playing right now, but.
But then again, you can turn around and say, well, then okay, then there's gonna be some friggin' fairy tale friendship bullshit, and they're gonna power. We're gonna combine our friendship power to bring you to life.
AKA awakening.
Oh yeah.
I can see your butthole.
So yeah, it just brings up a lot of prospects. But just when you think that the insane, and I mean insane, to the point of if it was just Zeref's backstory alone, it would have already been speechless. But OMG, uber speechless was what he was going for. Acnologia's human form.
Uh-huh.
Now we know why Acnologia disappears. Because
Mm-hmm.
when he goes off and goes into his human form, and since nobody knows what his human form looks like, they're not going to be searching for him. They're not going to. They. I mean, then again, we don't know if Acnologia actually when in his human form actually encounters other people. We don't know.
Right.
I mean, now he's having a meeting with friggin' Zareth, and it looks like that now Zareth and Acnologia are going to team up to destroy the world.
Hmm.
I think
It
either
looked like
that or they're
I
going
thought they
to,
were gonna fight.
which would be kind of anticlimactic because that means Zareth's going to win because he can't die,
Mm-hmm.
and so all he would have to do is, oh, Acnologia, I precious your life. Curse comes out, you're dead,
Right.
which is kind of weird.
Yeah. We'll see what
So it's,
happens. I mean, I don't
but
know.
it's just, well, obviously nothing. We're not going to find out next week because the chapter is called Magnolia, and I believe they said like good tidings or something
Uh-huh.
or some shit like that. So definitely, nothing of that caliber is going to happen next week.
Yeah.
It'll be friggin' Ace versus Blackbeard. Oh, it happened off screen,
Mm-hmm.
or they fought it out, but instead of like one of them killing each other, they're like, okay, they like come to some mutual agreement that they're going to just destroy the world together.
Uh-huh.
Because it would make no sense for, especially off screen, for friggin' Zareth to take out Acnologia, since it's believed that they were both going to be a part of the final arc,
Uh-huh.
presumably, unless he takes out E.N.D. or not E.N.D. He takes out friggin' Acnologia first as a part of one arc, and then in the final arc takes out Zareth, or vice versa. Who knows? This is at least it's very unpredictable at this point. At least we have that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that there's Zareth and Acnologia's defeats are definite. But what else? That's where the unknown comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Like how are we gonna get from point A to point B?
Right.
So it's it's and it's gonna do exactly what it's supposed to do. Get people talking.
Oh yeah.
Maybe if we're lucky, it might pull some people back. Anybody important back? Nope.
No.
If anybody important made a decision at any point to quit, and in most cases rage quit Fairy Tale, nothing is gonna make them come back.
Uh-huh.
I mean, maybe if they're bored one day, like after Fairy Tale's done, they might like marathon it and just finish it, just so they can say they finished it.
Mm-hmm.
But as for coming back and reviewing it weekly, never. Never.
Yeah.
Once you rage quit Fairy Tale, you're not coming back for the most, like I said, for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
unless previously mentioned situation happens.
Yeah.
So overall, like I said, I'm just like even though yes I've talked a lot about this chapter, I, I'm still sticking with it. Speechless. It's so good. I'm just
All right. For me, I would say, let's see, where would I rate this chapter? I mean, it was obviously a great chapter. Obviously. Um, the first chapter I liked a lot for the comedy. I did really
hold
like
on. We're
how.
trying to.
Let me do my review here. Um, so I did like the comedy in the first chapter. It was it was interesting. I definitely enjoyed it. As for the second chapter, obviously everything that was revealed was bat shit all in one friggin' chapter, which was I mean, he was saving it for this chapter. He's like, all right, man. Okay. Way to lay that on thick, Mashima. So this was a great chapter, obviously. Um, yeah, I think that's it for me.
Now, on the last page, it says that, obviously the next chapter is called Magnolia. But on the side, it says next issue, a happy, in quotation marks, happy development. And then after development has exclamation point, question mark.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means, it's just him teasing that it might not be happy, or it's just, oh, well, I'm just trying to fool you, but it's definitely going to be happy.
Uh-huh.
But it definitely doesn't showcase any signs of us seeing Zareth and Acnologia in the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Yeah.